What's up, guys? If you want to hit more submissions in your gym, this video is for you. I'm going to give you the technical tips you need to set up and finish more submissions, as well as some training principles to practice them more effectively. Let's get into it. Great submissions begin with a great setup. Opportunities must be made or captured, not forced. The best setups are built on three things: mechanical control, threat, and misdirection. You can exercise mechanical control through positional advantage and leverage. This allows you to physically neutralize your opponent's attacks, isolate their defenses, and move towards a submission. These setups are typically found in positions such as mount, rear mount, and dominant leg entanglements. Here's one of my favorite armbar setups, which relies heavily on mechanical control. I transition to S-mount, cutting a sharp angle to get perpendicular to my opponent. I hang weight heavy on their gut as I transition. Now here's the magic. I separate their hands while on top, and I use a tricep grip to pass their secondary arm across my body. Once it's across, I collapse over top of it, isolating it from the primary arm. Now the primary arm is left undefended, so I pass it into my armpit and get the finish. Beyond mechanical control, creating threats can force your opponent to react in a way which leaves a sub available. You might threaten a submission on one limb to get another, or maybe use a choke to force them to overextend their defense. Check out this rear naked choke, for example. I have good mechanical control with both hooks in and decent hand grips. I'm going to use the threat of a choke to keep one of my opponent's hands occupied, allowing me to trap the other arm. They can't ignore the threat of the choke here, so I'm able to force this progression right into a finish. A final crucial element to setups is misdirection. Trick your opponent into misreading your intentions and you'll have a cleared path to attack. Here's an example from the front headlock.
So I'm going to begin in the front headlock and I'm going to threaten a go behind. As I look to go behind, he's going to reach up to block my hip. This leaves his neck wide open. So I'm going to lace my deep wrist position. I'm going to lock my grip in place and I'm going to drive in to open the window to sit in. Now I sit through, lock my leg over the top, and I'm going to crunch in to finish.
The key to finishing skilled opponents is chaining your submissions together. A single submission succeeds on the basis of perfect timing and mechanics, but a combination expands your margin of error. As your opponent defends the first submission, their defense weakens in other areas. They may even leave massive vulnerabilities in their desperation. This is the best time to re-attack with another submission. This not only carries a technical advantage, but a psychological one as well. Keeping your opponent trapped in a defensive cycle hurts their morale. Even if your first series of attacks fails, you will have gained an upper hand by keeping them on the run. Some of the best submission chains come from upper and lower body attack pairs. If I'm able to threaten, say, a triangle choke, then my opponent may rip out and posture. This leaves their legs behind, allowing me to entangle and attack. If I instead begin by attacking their lower body, say with a scoop grip from the knee shield, they may crossface and rip away. This leaves their arm extended and available for a choi bar entry. Now let's cover counter submissions. Your opponent's defense is often weakest when they're attacking. This is when they'll be highly committed, even to their own detriment. It's the perfect time to flip the script and go on offense. Find an element of their structure which seems left behind. Isolate it while maintaining some good defensive discipline, and then attack aggressively.
Here's a great example of a counter submission from the saddle. So in this case, my opponent got me trapped in saddle, but he's leaving his secondary leg extended. This is an easy counter. First, I'm gonna hide my heel, and then I'm gonna grip that secondary leg and pull my secondary leg out of the pocket. Now I clear this above my hip line, close that space, and lock a triangle. This leaves him trapped in the pocket and I'm free to attack. I personally would lift the ankle, look for an ankle lock grip, fall to my side, and finish.
Now that we have some technical principles, let's talk about how to train them. It begins with how you drill. If you want better submissions, drill to understand the mechanics, not the process. You will rarely get subs through some rigid set of steps. Live resistance is dynamic and requires adaptation on the go. You'll need to regularly alter your processes to accommodate changing circumstances. You might even need to substitute certain mechanics to get a finish. This is only possible if you truly understand the why behind every technique. When you drill, explore the finer details of resistance. If you're attacking a rear naked choke, what if their chin is tucked? What if their head is turned to the side? What if they're just not quite aligned for the perfect choke? Learn to adapt to these in your drilling so that you know what to do when it happens in a roll. Now we need to bridge the gap between drilling and application. The first step to practicing submissions in a live roll is the catch and hold approach. Instead of immediately looking to finish submissions, look to retain the position for as long as you can. This will give you time to check your technique and ensure it's efficient. It will also force you to deal with the immediate defense in an intelligent fashion. Practicing this form of control prevents you from relying on aggression for your finishing mechanics. It instead gives you a resilient technical foundation. A simple example of this would be entering single leg X and securing an ankle lock grip. Don't apply braking pressure, but try to stay connected to your opponent as they move. They might scoot down the mat or roll to shake you loose. Just maintain your grips and follow through. Another incredible training mode is the catch and hop. The goal is to secure a submission and then quickly move to the nearest available follow-up. This will help you identify opportunities to chain your techniques together. You'll learn to counter some of the most common defenses to your favorite subs, and you'll develop smooth movement in transition. Over time, this will eliminate your hesitation in the training room and give you the confidence you need to roll fluidly.
Here's a great sequence to practice the catch and hop. So I'm gonna begin in single leg X. I'm looking for an ankle lock to start. As soon as I get the bite, it feels good. I'm gonna switch into a reap. So I reap, I expose the outside heel hook, I lace my grip, but I don't apply braking pressure. I'm going to switch to a double ankle grip. I'm gonna pass it across to the center and look for saddle. Once I hit saddle, I collect the secondary leg, and I'm looking to set up an Aoki lock on that ankle. I get my grip, I hold, and then I'm gonna switch again. So I switch to an inside heel hook, I grab the secondary leg, I feed that heel hook grip, and I hold my bite. Once I'm here, I'm gonna switch one last time. I'm gonna release the toes, but keep the knee, and I'm gonna grab them with my rear hand. Now I lock my arms together, and I practice finishing that lateral knee bar.
The last bit of advice I have is to be creative. If you want to develop a personal style in BJJ, you need to be creative. Experiment with different elements of control, different finishing mechanics. Find some slick setup off of one of your favorite positions. There are no absolute rules except for the laws of physics. If you can find a way to apply leverage which is efficient and repeatable, then you just found yourself a great technique. And if you're being discouraged from exploration by your coaches, maybe it's time you found another gym, one more open-minded.
Thanks for watching. Join the email list below for more exclusive tips and techniques. And if you want to understand more about submissions, check out my Choi Bar instructional above.